Hi, I'm going to talk about Monteverdi's Orfeo specifically, but also general things about opera and this early opera. Um, I'm Andrew Trusty. I'm an opera singer, doctoral student here at UK, and I've studied opera my whole musical career. So I love learning about it. I love uh, nerding out, I guess, and talking about it. But I thought that was very interesting going back to the roots of when we see opera developing at first. So I'll just dive in. I put the questions over here so I could stay on track. Why do we think that musicians created these different versions of the Orpheus, the Greek legend of Orpheus, going down to the underworld, saving his beloved Eurydice, and convincing the gods of the underworld to let her go? He did that through singing, pleading, all these things, these hero tasks that he had to do to win her from death. So, a pretty epic story. It's big. Roman poets said it again around the time of Monteverdi. So, he's picking that up, getting all on board with those ideas. And, the Renaissance and going into the Baroque, they were really about redefining some of these older themes, just like we do today. How many of us have seen movies that they redo again and again of topics that we've seen before or books? Oh, it was a book. Oh, well, it's the same thing then. People aren't that different. So back then it was like, oh, we know these old stories. They're pretty cool and epic. So we're going to make them into this opera, this new art form. Why would the 17th century audience want to go and see the story again and again? Well, I don't know what they were doing on a Saturday night or a Friday night back in 17th century, but I would assume that they wanted to go see life, especially if you were like, a working person. And Italy was great, Venice, about being able for regular people to spend their money and go to the opera. So I just think it's really cool that that became like the thing. It wasn't just for noble, wealthy, the court to see opera, everybody could start enjoying it. So that really did start opera on a good trend, that it was funded a large part by regular people's ticket sales and support that way. So, and then the wealthy commerce in the town itself. I think they would go back because of different things. Maybe with the wealthier people's status, it was the thing to do. That rolled right into the early 1900s, even in this country. It was the thing to go do. Was you were cultured, you were part of life if you went to opera and symphonies and all that kind of stuff. It just was part of life. There wasn't anything else better to do, really. That was something just ingrained in culture, and it came from Europe to this country. So we have them to thank for the rich tradition of music in our country too. So I think they would go back. Why not? Because, maybe it's a different singer. Maybe they wanted to, you just never know. It's a spectacle. Opera is like a huge thing. Maybe something was like tantalizing and like cool to them. So they were like, oh, I want to go see that again. That was like way out there, in 17th century kind of speak. But yeah, I think that's the main reason because people really haven't changed much. Just think about your favorite performer. If you go see him again, you already seen him once. Why do you go see him again? Because you love the music. You want to see what new things they're doing. You want to hear it again, live and in person. So they're the same. They were the same way. That hasn't changed in human experience. Art forms are combined in this that we watched was ballet, and that happened a lot through opera all the way up until now. Lots of dance is included in opera. They're kind of interwoven together. And back then, that was definitely something that was the two art forms kind of converged a lot. So we see a lot of ballet or chorus ballet, and like stage chorus and all that kind of stuff. So we saw that. Uh, Thinking like a producer, what besides the actors do you see contributing to the profession of artist? The final product in opera is huge. I mean, we saw a little bit of the behind the scenes, but it's like, oh my gosh, it's a huge undertaking to mount an opera. Like as far as financially, I mean, you have to have some kind of, it's like run like a business, of course, it is a business financials, all the things, the people that you have to pay. So some big entity like the Metropolitan Opera, they pay their chorus. So they are like hired chorus people that are contracted there for that amount of whatever the contract says for that whole season or that many operas. And they must show up to the job and do that job. And they are very talented singers. So you got that. You have a hired chorus usually, and then you have hired musicians, union musicians. You have union stagehands. I mean, you have all the people that build the sets, the wig people, the costumers. Then you have the directors, the conductors, all those people you pay, the coaches that help the singers. Um, Gosh, it's a lot of people. Like I'm sure there's rights that they have to pay, royalties to some of the music. People have to figure all that out, and if they're doing a new production, like say they hire a new director from Spain, they have to pay him to come in and recreate this Orfeo set in ancient Greece. But it's his idea, his thing, so they have to pay him. So you need all those people. It's a lot of people. Now, if you're like a community college and you're putting on something, you have like two chairs and like a scarf and just wear what you have that fits this. Like you have to make the music be the star. Like if you don't have that, like then it's really impossible to put on the opera. But you can. I mean, there's successful productions that I would go see where they just don't have a lot of money, for whatever reason, be it a small college or a little professional group, somewhere in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't matter. If the music is honored, it's really good, then I'll go see it, and people will come and see that. So there again, if you can do the music, I mean, if you add all that other stuff, of course, it's even better. But you gotta have that first. Gotta have the singing be amazing, and you've got to have a high level of musicianship, and honoring that music. What else? The videos we watched were really good. I enjoyed that. It was kind of fun, fast paced. I think that wasn't boring. I mean, gosh, you could. I like that kind of. The Met is a labyrinth. Oh my God, like it. So I was there for the competition, backstage, and I remember being taken on tours when we were back there, and we were going. I felt like we went up and down so many times. We come out so many doors into the lobby. I wouldn't have been able to find my way back, I don't think. I just kept thinking, wow, this is amazing. Like we go up and down to the cafeteria and they're like, let's go to the wig shop and let's go to the costume shop and let's go out into the side stage. It really like they're weaving back in there, but it's like a city back there. So that was cool. That represented that really well. And then the other one where you saw Martha Stewart and Peter Gelb. I actually went to festival school with her nephew. He's a really sweet person. He sings. But that's where it was interesting, them getting to be on the set of the stage. That's cool. That was neat. And they did show some of the behind the scenes with the wigs and the flowers and all that. It's beautiful. So there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people and they work in conjunction. There's many opera companies. Houston does that too, where the ballet also uses the main stage of the opera house, and that's true in New York as well. I don't know if that's done everywhere. That makes me want to check that out, but that's done a lot. So the ballet also uses that space, so they do both. So that's a big thing too. So yeah, it's a huge big organization. That's pretty cool. I think if there was one thing we left out, we should have looked at, should have saw, we should have seen the singers prepare. That would have been cool. There's backstage, you can like YouTube that. There's backstage at the Met, like when they're in rehearsal, it's pretty neat. You see some of the world's like top singers, and they are, instructing them in the staging, and then it'll show you from like opening night or whatever. It's pretty cool. So you see like the day-to-day work. So then when they get out there in their costumes and they look amazing and they sound great, and you know that it took a lot of sweat. And often they're like so frustrated and they're like, oh my gosh, like this is not working. And then it comes together somehow. So that's cool. That's the only thing I would comment they needed to do a little bit more of, is show behind the scenes of the actual singers singing. That it was good. The videos were good.